Hey. 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 What do you say, Millie? Hey. Okay, so if you guys didn't understand that, Millie just said good morning and welcome to another video. Chicken oil. Well, the level must be good because he's starting the tractor. In case you're wondering, with the amount of clothing that I've got on, nah, it's not cold at all. It's only about -5, so nah, not cold at all. I mean, what you can take out of the soil sticking to the pallet forks is that summer will be here one day. Oh, it's not meant to be like that. So what was just dropped off then? Well, that was minerals for 2 herds of the 3 herds of calves. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a super busy day. I've not only got to feed out first, but then I've got to jump into the big tractor and go ploughing. One thing along with that is that what we do day to day is slowly changing. So I'm no longer shifting brakes. Dad is officially shifting all of my brakes, and then Mum is shifting the rest of the brakes. So Dad is shifting 5 herds of fodder beat fences, and Mum is shifting 3 brakes that are the calves that are on the oats. Because we are slowly starting our cultivation, which is finally happening. I'm bloody glad to be here. Because all of that rain we had, it slowly holds us up, pushes us back, and puts more pressure on seeding. So I'm glad to start cultivating. I've also gone through about 4.5 tubes of greasing this tractor through the winter, but also the trailer. 2 of them have turntables that I absolutely pummel grease into. And of course, with this Go Well bale slice, I have sharpened those teeth on the front there that slice through the straw. I've sharpened them 3 times. I don't use a grinding disc though, I just use a sanding disc. I just use a sanding disc in order to just take off enough metal to sharpen that blade right up. So it enables it to slice through that straw. Now, feeding bales doesn't tend to change a lot, but with all these frosts, we've been having the yields go up and up and up. And so the amount of meters or rows that we've been feeding the cows has been dropping and dropping, but the amount of bales that I'm feeding has stayed the same. You guys alright? I must admit that was not meant to happen at all. Now, just two things to quickly report on. One thing is that I went quite easy, in the last episode I went quite easy on the set of forks when it came to time. But one thing I never reported on with the go well is that when you slice that bale open, you do not know where the baler started wrapping or finished wrapping that bale. So unfortunately you get left with little bits like this sitting in the feeder, and you got to get out of the cab and go and grab them, or else they'll end up in your cultivator or in the contractor's cultivator, wrapped around bearings and seals and wearing them out prematurely. Now, to explain how the go well leaves bits of wrap behind, think of it as this bale here is inside the chamber of a baler. It starts wrapping from here and finishes wrapping up there. So there's a start point and then there's a finish point. Now, if you sliced it up here when the start is there and the finish is up there, you may have 2 points of interest, i.e. this point here and that point there, that may get left behind in the feeder. And of course at that point you've got to get out and grab that. So that right there is the honest truth, guys. It is not perfect, but it is better than a set of forks for our operation. Would you look at that, girls? Would you check that out? Finish line is right there. I can damn near touch it. As you guys may have noticed, I don't have the trailer on the back of the tractor anymore, do I? That is because I've dumped it in that bale paddock. Now, to help cultivate more and more hectares in a quicker succession, I don't fill that trailer. So Dad will fill that trailer up with the amount of bales I tell him, and then I get on the cultivating tractor and get going. So it's currently 10 o'clock. I'll carry on driving tractors for the rest of the day. I won't stop for lunch. I'll have lunch in the cab with me. So the tractor's full of diesel, full of AdBlue, oils are all good, the plough's ready to go, all greased up. Okay, so I've got my lunch, my drink bottle, and my coffee. Oh shit, forgot my sunglasses. Don't worry guys, I did find my sunglasses after all. Now in another video I mentioned that I would tell you guys everything that I did to the plough before it had to hit the first paddock. So let's rattle these jobs off. As you can see here, but it's upside down, there is a measurement from this pin here to this pin here that these leaf springs have to have for their preload. I did every single one, which incorporates tightening these bolts up to put the preload on this spring to make the distance from this pin to this pin 710 millimeters. I tightened up all these bolts in here that holds the millboard on. I replaced a couple of these landslides. I flipped these shear points. I tightened up these skimmers. I tightened up these pivot point bolts. I think we've got to replace you. I greased the whole thing. I replaced a couple of bolts here. Here, here. I pulled this whole mechanism out. I put a plate in here and welded up the crack. Also put a plate in here and welded up that crack. I tightened up these bolts on all 7. I beautifully rerouted these hoses so they do not get clamped inside of these 2 stands when the plough is parked away. Also replace bolts here, 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 there, that one and that one. So the time is about almost 11 o'clock. Tractor driver's lunchtime. It's always about an hour earlier than everybody else's. Well, as you guys can see, I am just currently lining up to where I finished off yesterday afternoon. So let's see what that looked like.